All right, so boom. My name is Tate. It's gonna be a longer video just because you can't rush the truth. So if you can't wait here, I'm sorry, but just bear with me. But if you can't do it, God bless you. The only reason that this verse will not work on you is if you have unbelief. If you have lack of faith, it will not work. All right, so boom. I just ate some lunch after the gym, and a random thought popped into my head, and it was James 1:5, right? And so I looked it up, and then I've read this verse before, but today I wanted to read it in KJV. That's one of the most original translations from Greek to English. And so the verse is, it says, if you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and unbraideth not, and it shall be given. What I wanted to do, what helped me and what the Holy Spirit really led me into was dive deep into each of the words, especially the words that I didn't understand. And so the way that you got to do that, you got to get the context. And so you got to get like what time was it written, what language was it written, what was the original meaning back then, because the definition of words changed throughout time, right? How can we put our words into the original context, if that makes sense? So it says, if you lack wisdom. And so what popped in my head was, what is wisdom? Like, what is the original definition of wisdom? In the Greek language, the Greek way of saying wisdom is Sophia. The original definition is basically a skill. It's a skill in a craft or art. It's a practical know-how, and it's intellectual knowledge. And so I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then the New Testament context is wisdom is applied knowledge. Wisdom is linked to God. You can read that in Proverbs 2:6. Wisdom is the God-given ability to apply understanding to live rightly and act faithfully in specific situations. So it's basically, wisdom is just knowing what to do in the moment. It's just knowing, it's knowledge. Just sum it all up, it's knowledge. So then you go to let him ask of God. Obviously, you know what asking is, you pray, right? You pray. And so that giveth means gives in our language, like Gives. If you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that gives to all men liberally. And so I didn't know what liberally meant, especially in this context. So I searched it up. Liberally it's in like not two words, but it's broken in two ways of saying it. It's pasos and haplos. And if I'm not saying it right,
what they do?
The original definition of pasos means completely or entirely. Haplos means generously and without reserve. And so connecting these definitions to the verse, it says God gives to all pasos, which means completely or entirely. Everyone has access. There are no limits. So there's no limits of what God can give. God gives limitlessly to you. He gives you limitless wisdom to what you ask him for, if that makes sense. And he says God gives, haplos. His giving is wholeheartedly and generous. So you're talking about G-O-D, Yahweh. Having his heart, you know how big his heart is? You can't even imagine it. So if it's wholeheartedly, it's his whole heart. So boom, start at the top. It says, if you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that gives to all men liberally and unbraideth not. Of upbraideth is onadezontos. I only speak English. If you're gonna make fun of how I'm saying it.
What they do?
Me, which is not. So it's like, for us, it's like flip backwards. So this is unbraideth is onadezon, and then tos or it's me means not, if that makes sense. So then onadezon means to reproach, to rebuke, to insult, to find fault, to speak sharply. That doesn't sound like God. That's why he says not. So he's not going to reproach. He's not going to rebuke. He's not going to insult, find fault, speak sharply for asking for wisdom, if that makes sense. It's a principle of divine grace that basically God will show you unlimited grace with giving you wisdom. So if you need wisdom for your business, if you need wisdom for your relationship, for your mental health, if you need wisdom for anything, you ask him specifically in prayer with faith and utter complete belief that he will do it. All you have to do now after you ask him is turn your heart posture into a receiving posture, because it says clearly right here, if you lack wisdom, ask God, and he will give to all men without limit. He will not rebuke you, and it will be given to you. That's literally the whole verse. And I know I said a whole bunch of stuff just for this one sentence. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, try it yourself. Try it yourself. If you lack wisdom, which we all do, we don't know everything. If you lack wisdom, ask God and he will give it to you, and he will not rebuke you without limit. The only reason that this verse will not work on you is if you have unbelief. If you have lack of faith, it will not work. Faith is believing it has already happened, believing it will happen after you ask it, after you pray for it. It's not manifestation. That's a whole different. I can go on a whole different story with manifestation and faith. So if y'all have any questions, just put them down in the comments down below. I'll try to answer them as best as I possibly can. But God bless. Be blessed by the best. I'm out.